Ultimate Halo now has a Discord. Go to the description, join the community, and let's talk some Halo. Finish the fight. Tell you what, I was crazy about this game back in the day and the hype was absolutely insane. I watched the trailers over and over as like a 10/11-year-old kid like a million times, looking for the smallest details, being blown away by how epic this game was. And then in 2007, most of us jumped onto this bandwagon, finished the fight, watched the crazy ending and never looked back. But what about those who did not finish the fight? Who could those people be? Well, obviously the PlayStation fanboys never really cared too much. Nintendo are happy with their slice of Zelda and Mario, which I'm definitely partial to in my spare time. So that really only leaves the PC, and that's exactly who this is going to have the biggest impact on. Halo 3 coming to PC is going to be a big deal, and with them already having CE and Halo 2 in the past on the PC, for them not to have Halo 3, it was sad for them not to be able to finish the fight. But in this video, we're going to talk about, is Halo 3 PC Halo's big moment before Halo Infinite?
Ultimate Halo.
Hey up lads, Fletch here from Ultimate Halo. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. A like and a subscription would mean the world. It definitely helps the channel grow a lot. And I want to know in the comment section down below which Halo 3 mission was the best. So let me know in the comments, I'm really curious to know your thoughts. Halo on the PC is definitely a weird one. It's such an odd part of the franchise, and at this point we know that it's had a little bit of a rocky history. I'd just bear in mind that porting a game is not easy for a start. It's a common misconception that you just change one bit of code, put it running on the PC and you're golden. It's a tough job, and I'll tell you what, I really don't envy the guys at the 343 MCC PC team, because they've definitely got their hands full without a doubt. But at this point in Halo's history, we've had Halo CE on PC, Halo 2, Halo Wars 1 and 2, now Halo Reach, and Combat Evolved Anniversary. Soon the flights will start for Halo 2, which I think will also go fairly well, and I think Halo 3 is where we'll see the biggest player surge for players in the MCC, because it's this game that got away from a lot of PC fans. It's kind of like that first love in high school who broke your heart, and now they're having a great time because they're with another guy and you just want them back and you feel like pure shit. And anyway, yeah. There is a massive chunk of fans out there who never actually got to play this game. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people bought it at launch. The game sold 3.3 million copies in a week alone, which is just crazy numbers, and it was the biggest entertainment launch in history at that time. But according to Newzoo, in a graphic created by WePC.com, in 2019, 25% of the player population is on PC, which is a significant proportion, as the majority are actually mobile phones, as you can see by the graph. As such, there's a massive untapped market, and if I was 343 right now, I'd put a lot of investment and time into marketing Halo 3, as this will tap both into the nostalgia of existing players, but also excitement for those who never got to finish the fight back in the day. This is all in aid to help Halo Infinite succeed, and we'll cover a few reasons why in a moment, but let me just step back for a moment and just let me explain something in a little bit of story time. Okay, so it's PAX West 2019. Me, Ubernick and Taquin are in an Uber, ironically, making our way to the community party with a load of Halo friends, and our Uber driver asks why we're in town. Obviously we've got different accents, so it's a little bit strange to him why we're in Seattle. We explain who we are, what we do, we talk about our channels, and then he asks, wait, so what do you guys do on your channel? At this point we explain that we're Halo YouTubers, and it's like, whoa, I didn't even know they made those games anymore. Then we tell him the position the franchise is in right now, and that Halo Infinite is going to be the bomb. After we talk about the other games, he's going back to telling us that he played a ridiculous amount of Halo 3 back in the day with his brother, and they used to go crazy for the game, but they didn't know that they kept on making them after Halo 3. Since that day, I do actually think about that encounter a lot, because sometimes it makes me think about if Halo has had a fall from grace, and if Halo Infinite could be the game to bring all these old fans back to the franchise. Well, the answer is I think that Halo 3 is going to be the big hurrah to get fans to realise there were games beyond just Halo 3, engage some real interest. Look at it this way, if 343 played their cards right and pushed hard on Halo 3, they can do a clever campaign that can draw the player concurrency to Halo Infinite, make people have an interest in the trailers, much like how MCC and Halo 5 almost had a harmonious launch in terms of marketing. One drove interest for the other, and if 343 played on the idea of Chief going to cryo sleep at the end of Halo 3 and then somehow draw the player's attention to the image of Chief floating in space in the Halo Infinite Discover Hope trailer, then for me that's absolutely a perfect hook. The reason is that Halo Infinite is very intentionally being designed for you to pick up the pieces in terms of the narrative about what's happening around this battle around you, and this idea around the narrative design is even confirmed in an interview with Chris Lee at E3. So by matching these two screens up at the same time, it means you can spark interest for players between the games. It will then make them ask the question, wait, so where exactly has the Chief been all of this time? Then Halo 4 launches down the line, and then you get to know exactly what's happened, then renewing the old fan interest in the games that they all dropped off from. For me, this is one of the biggest opportunities that 343 has as a developer to really capitalise on MCC for PC. It's been done fairly well so far, but I think Halo 3 has the biggest chance to play on nostalgia and drive home exactly the fact that Halo never ended and has in fact still got some big days to come. Next up on this video, I'd like to talk about something which I think is quite crucial here, because the numbers for MCC's concurrent player count tends to plateau eventually quite quickly after a launch. At the beginning of the chart on screen, you can see when Halo Reach launched in early December 2019. It started off with some great numbers, but sadly the game did tail off relatively quickly, but then they kept low for quite a while. But then, as we can see later on down the line, CE launched and there was a small spike, but because we've already seen this in some form on the PC, I don't think it was going to drive an incredible amount of interest. Then I think something similar will happen with Halo 2. I do actually think there'll be a little bit more interest in terms of that there's more to do in this game, and that the anniversary multiplayer, which I think is top notch, doesn't get talked about near enough. I do think that Halo 2 will do just fine on the PC, and I think at this stage there will at least be a bit more variety in the package, and then when Halo 3 comes out, I think that's when we'll see the biggest ever player concurrency since the launch of MCC on PC. And personally, I think Halo 3 plays great on a PC platform. After playing my fair share of Halo Online when that launched, I could not get enough of it, but sadly I can't show any footage just due to the risk of having a strike on the channel, but we'll see plenty of it soon enough. Lastly, for this video, I really want to talk about what comes after Halo 3 on PC. Halo 4 will come, and personally I'm thrilled at the idea of having it on my PC. I love the game, the campaign is awesome, I thought that big team battle was just a ridiculous amount of fun, but for those who maybe didn't continue through the current day and perhaps finished off at Halo 3 or even potentially Halo Reach, they might not know exactly what they're getting into. It's no secret that 343's direction put a lot of fans off of the franchise. Some people thought it ruined Halo, thought it was a Call of Duty ripoff, etc. All of which I disagree with, but I understand why a lot of people share this sentiment. My only worry is that people might have such a great time with Halo 3, then Halo 4 launches and they think, wait, so this is what Halo has become these days, and they might be a little bit confused by that, which is a bit of a concern, but Halo Infinite is trying to make the best between the old and the new, so I think this is why 343 needs to make an important tie between the marketing of these two games with Halo 3 and Infinite, to make sure that it's absolutely explicit that Halo has a relatively new identity and plays off the best of 343 and the best of Bungie. I just really don't want fans to have a jarring experience with it. If you're someone like me who's been here since Combat Evolved, you might agree that the transition from Reach to Halo 4 felt quite normal, because in a lot of ways Halo 4 continued what Reach started, but going straight from 3 straight to 4 could be a very drastic change in my eyes, and I think the implications are much greater than a lot of people might initially think. Ultimately, I do think we are in for a fantastic time with Halo 3 on PC, and either way, I think a lot of people will be talking about this game again, because I think it had some of the most iconic moments in the franchise, and I seriously cannot wait for the modding community to go crazy, because what's been done with Reach is already nuts. Now it's Halo 3's turn to have the spotlight, like it should have done many a year ago. But I would like to know your thoughts on this topic. Do you think Halo 3 on PC will be Halo's big moment before Halo Infinite? What was your favourite mission in Halo 3? Let me know it in the comments down below. As always, my name is Jack Fletcher, and a subscription would help out the channel tremendously, and I will see you next time on the one and the only Ultimate Halo.
Subscribe now to Ultimate Halo for more unfriggin' believable Halo content.